Hey guys, this is going to be another video on editing P-code. In this video, we're going to be covering what this line here means. It is QName, parenthesis, package namespace, parenthesis, double quote, the word towers.def, another quote, another parenthesis, a comma, another quote, now the word tower def with a quote and a parenthesis. This line of code appears in a few different ways. You might see it as find prop strict and then this line. You might see it as construct prop and then this line. Or you'll see it as call property and then this line. When you see the word prop, it is short for property. Since this appears in different ways, I'm only going to break it down the one way because it's the same for all of them. And then I'll go over what each of the little extra words mean. So I'm going to start off by covering this part right here, skipping the word QName. So what we have is package namespace, towers.def, comma, towerdef. I'm going to explain what that means first, and then I'll show you guys what that means. So to explain, package namespace, this first towers.def is a package. This last towerdef is a namespace. So we're grabbing this namespace from this package towers.def. And we're gonna do something with that. So let's get into that. What's a package? Well, we've got towers.def right here. If we open up the towers folder, and then we open up the def folder, that's towers.def. We see this script right here, towerdef. That was the namespace. Let's go ahead and open up and scroll to the top. Right here, package, towers.def. Well, now we know why the package was towers.def. Here's another interesting one. Right here, this line, public class towerdef extends unique. Ignoring the last part for a second, public class towerdef. That's a namespace. So this line right here is honestly pretty simple. We're going to be getting the namespace towerdef from the package towers.def, and we're going to do something with it. Or in other words, we're going to be doing something with the file towerdef, which is in the folders tower/def. Pretty simple. This line right here, find prop strict, is going to be searching for a property. It's going to be searching for the namespace towerdef. If it finds it, it will continue. So it found it. Let's skip this push string for a second and look at construct prop. This line, now that it knows towerdef exists, is going to construct the property, which was the namespace. Now, using this push string, we see it's going to assign that string, Dart Monkey. Let's look at the action script. So we found our prop, we found towerdef. Now we're going to create a new one with the name Dart Monkey, which is exactly what happened here. We got new towerdef, Dart Monkey. So that's essentially what these lines here mean. So if we're ever getting some kind of property from any of the other files, we're going to have to grab them first, using the find prop strict method. Whenever you see a new blank, a new definition, a new behavior, a new anything, that is using a construct prop. So we found a property, we've constructed the property, now we can use stuff from that property. For example, having to do with a label or a description. So in this line where it's saying QName, package namespace, and then there's empty quotes, and then a comma, and then the word label, the reason why we have empty quotes here, when we had to have something up here, was we already created it. We already said that we're in the towerdef namespace, which is in the towers.def file, or folder. So there's no need to call it again. We've already opened it, so to speak. So we can just leave that blank and call properties from it. If you want to know what properties are in there, just simply go to that file. So we got towers.def, and it's going to be the towerdef folder file, which is right here. Click on that. I'll scroll down until I see the word label, and look at this. We've got an awful lot of properties here. We've got ID, label, occupied space, range of visibility, weapons, weapon offsets, abilities, area effects, target mask, description, display add-ons, behavior, is boat, can place on track, and sacrifice type. That's an awful lot of properties. But all you have to do to use any of these is find prop strict, and then this line right here with the package name being essentially the folders or the package name that's at the top of the file, and the namespace, which is essentially the name of the file. Now that you have found it, we've confirmed it does exist, go ahead and construct the property. And then once it's constructed, you can call properties from it. And that is what the call property line is. There's really only one more thing we have to cover with this, and that's the number at the end. What's the difference between this construct prop right here and this one right here? How come this one ends in a 1, but this one ends in a 0? Let's try to notice the difference between them. I'm going to click on the Dart Monkey's construct prop, and we can see it says new tower def, and then it has Dart Monkey in parentheses. I'm going to click on the one that has a 0 at the end of it. We see new spike spread, empty parentheses. As a matter of fact, I'm going to click on this power right here. We see it's a push byte 115. Below that is the word power with a 1 at the end. Almost like it has to do with the number of parameters we're pushing through here. Emphasis on pushing. Moral of the story is, the ones with 0, nothing. You're not pushing anything, and you're gonna have empty parentheses. The ones with 1, you are pushing something, and that's why there's a number in the parentheses. You can even have 2. We've already talked about weapon offsets. Right here, it's creating a new vector with 2 numbers, 6 and 9. Look at what's at the end of the construct prop. A 2! I think you guys are starting to understand the pattern here. A few important things to point out. If the number at the end is 2, you have to push 2 things. If you don't, it's going to be an error. If the number is 1, you can only be pushing 1 thing, or you get an error. If the number is 0, you can't be pushing anything, or you're going to have a problem. In the scenario where the number is 0 and you're pushing more than 0, it won't give you an error, but it'll completely mess up the line. Here's an example. I'm going to change the call property for label from a 1 to a 0, which means instead of passing the string Dart Monkey through it, I'm going to pass nothing through it. But I'm going to leave the push string for Dart Monkey. Watch what happens. I saved it, I didn't get an error, but look at my line. It's all messed up now. It's no longer showing new tower def like it is on all the other ones. So in this scenario, while it didn't throw an error, it did rewrite the action script line for the tower definition, and if I tried to run this, it would break. The last thing we need to cover is when it says coerce, and then package namespace, and the file we were working with. This basically means exit, return, stop, we're done. So in the beginning, we found the package, towers.dev. Inside that package, we found the namespace, towersdef. When we confirmed we found it, we constructed that, which gave us new tower def. And we did all kinds of stuff with that, calling all kinds of properties like title, label, description, etc. But when we're done, we have to close it. So we use coerce, and then qname, package namespace, the same thing we did at the start. So as a quick summary, we've covered this line qname, package namespace, and then a package followed by a namespace, and possibly a number, which means the number of parameters we're passing into the namespace. If you wanted to call a property, like maybe say a description, and you wanted to give your tower a description, you would first have to construct your property, but before you could do that, you'd have to find it. Once you found it, you can construct it, and then you can call properties from it, like your label, or your description, or the display, or the range of visibility. And then finally, when you're all done, you close it off by using coerce, and then the package namespace. I hope this video was clear enough. It took me, honestly, about a week just to figure out what was going on here. I was really trying to do my best to explain this to you guys. I hope that this makes sense, because this is going to be one of the biggest things you guys use in all of your mods. Now that we understand this, we can do crazy upgrades. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm more than willing to make another follow-up video going into more detail. You know, you can join the Discord server. There's a lot of really smart people in there. And we're going to be more than happy to help you guys. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.